Hi, I'm going to give a presentation about decolonizing feminism, challenging connections between settler colonialism and heteropatriarchy. So, in this lecture, in this presentation, I will be presenting the connections or the connections between the native feminist theory in to decolonize the feminism. And to begin with, these are terms that describe settler colonialism. Settler colonialism is the term that is used to describe the new society which has replaced the original population and set over there, while heteropatriarchy means the male dominating uh, dominating the another gender, where the female is perceived as weak, naive, and confused. But the actual fact is not this. In the indigenous society, women are considered as spiritually and strong character. So we are trying to break this stigma. Decolonizing feminist movement is not all about the women rights. It's not a lot just about the fight against the fight for the woman, but it's the movement that address the all the global problems such as discrimination between rich and poor, discrimination between higher management and the lower working management within the workforce, between the color and etc. So decolonizing feminist movement is not just about the human rights. It's talk about the human rights, the but it cannot be confined just for the human, just for the one particular reason. So we need to have a broad sense and need to think this theory to theory which has addressed the whole part. Moving on to next slide. uh, Native feminist theory. So in the native feminist theory, it's the it examines the woman and man's role in the varieties of sectors. So everyone has its unique characters. So as I mentioned earlier, Aboriginal woman traditional role and power of women were respected for their spiritual and mental strength, and men were respected for their spiritual and physical strength. So, this means that human have mental strength, which is more important uh, mm, in the journey of life. So this makes both human and the man equally powerful. And understanding the native feminist theory is the way to understand the or it can be related, or its knowledge can be used to understand the connections between settler colonialism and the both settler colonialism and the both heteropatriarchy and heteropaternalism. And it also focus on the decolonization, indigenous sovereignty, and human rights for indigenous women and their families. So overall, native feminist theory uh, is is used to decolonizing the feminist theory, and it will be well observed and guided. So this is the picture of a woman. Uh, so it's an example. She's her name is Harriet Nahi, and she's from Canada. She was fighting to preserve the nature. The world was going to build uh, from from sea to sky highways where she protested. In the offense of protest, she was jailed where she fell sick and she died. So this is the one example. Feminism is not only about the human rights; it's also about it's for the great cause. So her cause to protect the environment, to create a sustainable development is crucial. So she's just one example. If we go and look and we search, then we can find lots of such great examples. So native families, feminism theory is also about this. And native feminism theory focuses on gender. Is actually focuses on gender, sexuality. It also focuses on race, and indigeneity, and nations. So these are the 5 points where the native feminist theory focuses on. And moving on to the next slide, the five challenges that native feminist theory poses to gender and human studies are problematizing the central colonialism and its intersection. So we need to find the intersection uh, between feminist theories and the problems that are having. So these are the challenge, and it's to and the second challenge is uh, it's being the history is being erasing. So or the theory of woman perceive is perceiving the different way. So we need to maintain the to include the to stop the erasure of such thing. We need to include more that in the academic as well as other aspects. And third is craft alliances that directly address the differences. And fourth challenge is recognizing indigenous way of knowing. Um, Indigenous knowledge is profound. So there are lots of knowledge that indigenous people share. And if we if we can acquire the knowledge that indigenous people have, then we can create a sustainable environment and create a development or the well managed uh, scenario within the nations. So it's very quite a good thing to preserve the indigenous culture and maintain the uh, maintain the maintain or address the challenges and forthcome. Fifth challenge is questions academic participation in indigenous discussion. So we need to include the indigenous knowledge in the academic course. So it can stay alive for the long period of time, and it doesn't fade away. So to do that, we need to have some slow-paced system change and management. So moving on to the next. Uh, this is about the same thing. Uh, so gender and women study have been largely shaped by Western and European ideas of gender, sexuality, and women opportunity. Uh, so in this session, we talked about the ways that native feminist theory have shifted the ways that we understand gender and women oppression. So we have also explored the five central challenges that native feminist theory poses to gender and human studies. So, so the relations of the genders are the native feminist theory to the nations, class, sexuality, powers. Native feminism and other feminist theory are the things we need to consider, we need to explore, or we need to examine. So these are the things that we can consider on doing so. Okay, thank you.